So for those of you that are interested, we're about to get vloggy here, but I will put a clicky thingy so you can just skip to the video if you don't want to listen to me blabber. So, you know, my husband totaled my car on Easter Sunday, right? Because he was being a dickhead and he doesn't know how to drive, basically. So he totaled my Mustang. And I've been looking for a car. So I found on a lot here around where I live, like 20 miles away, I found an Infiniti G37, 2013. And I'm like, okay, cool. This seemed to be a good price. It wasn't a manual, but it drove really well. It drove really well. I had an Integra for a long time, and it was static, and you know, I had the, like, I was just, you know when the import thing happened and everyone got one and everybody customized them? Yeah, I was on that train too. So I had a red Integra, had the Grip Royal steering wheel, the Skunk 2, Pro S2 coilovers. I mean, it was a good ass fucking car. Alright, so I'm familiar with imports. I'm familiar with modifications. I did my first engine swap when I was like 16. So, although I fucked the wiring harness up. So, to hit defrost, you actually had to hit like FM on the radio. I don't know how I did that. Or you had to hit something else if you wanted it defrost. I remember I had like little post-it notes because I fucked the wiring harness up. Anyways, you live and you learn. Basically, long story short, when it comes to cars, you know, I know more than your average consumer. This isn't to slag the average consumer. So I drove the car and I'm like, okay, cool. But I noticed the exhaust, it sounded a little bit beefy, and I noticed that it seemed to be lowered a little bit. And right off the bat, I knew it was an aftermarket bumper. And, you know, I take it out for the test drive, because we started talking numbers, and I'm like, okay, so before we even talk numbers, like, I'm gonna fucking drive this car. I don't know what it is about car lots nowadays, but they want to run numbers before they let you drive it. And I was like, look, here's my badge. I gave him my hospital badge, and I was like, here's my badge, here's my car keys, give me the keys. I'm taking this for a fucking test drive. You can come or not, I don't care. But we're not running numbers until I drive the car. So, anyways, so I drove it, and while I was out, I get underneath it, and I look, I see that it did have an aftermarket exhaust. I see that I was correct in that the bumper was aftermarket, but they fucked up so bad. They didn't do proper coilovers. When you lower a car, there's two ways of doing it. Okay, so it's called static, meaning you lower it and it stays that level, or you can bag it, and it's like a hydraulic system, and you can like raise it and lower it. A lot of people like bagging nowadays, because with static, potholes and, you know, the speed bumps, they're not that great to go over, okay? Let me just throw that out there, because it doesn't move. And you can actually, like, pop a coilover if it's, like, shitty quality. Anyways, and they're also not good to drive in winter, just because. Okay, long story short, so I noticed that it was lowered, and I get under there. Motherfucker cut the springs. No coilovers, just cut them, okay? Pop the hood, you look under it, and from where he put the aftermarket bumper on, the brackets that actually hold the front piece together were broken. The headlight wasn't flush. I actually thought it had been wrecked, and I asked them for I immediately drove it back, and I was like, I want to see the Carfax. Because, like, if you ask for the Carfax, they have to give you one. I was like, I want to see the Carfax. And so, this guy, he is such a douche, dude. Okay. He drives like a 1995 Porsche, not even a 911, just a 1995 Porsche, and he walks around with like a Porsche drawstring bag on with a handlebar mustache. The handlebar mustache was cool as fuck, but I'm like, really? It was kind of douchey. So he walks out, and I guess the sales guy that I was dealing with, like, told him she thinks it's been wrecked. She pointed this out. The first thing he says when he comes up to me is, yes, this has aftermarket mods. And I was like, you know, that lowers the value of the car like, you can't sell me this car for $20,000. Like, it's not worth it anymore, and the work that they've done to it is shitty. Like, when they cut the fender well, like, they did, like, you're supposed to cut the fender well a certain way if you're gonna lower it, and, like, they just, like, ripped it out, and just chunks of plastic, hard plastic, were missing, and I'm like, you know, just little things like that, and it just, none of it was sitting well. And dude, this guy was such a douche, and he's like, it's a used car. What do you want me to say? It's a used car. And I'm like, the headlight's not even attached. And he's like, it's a used car. He just kept saying it's a used car. And he kept like, I have a migraine now, even thinking about this conversation with him, because he was so adamant that, like, nothing was wrong with this car and everything was done properly. And I'm like, it's obvious it's been in a fender bender, and they put the aftermarket parts on there to cover it up. Or, what is most likely, since it did have inkies on it, which is the type of wheel you can get, they were into modding, but they weren't that good at it, and they fucked a lot of shit up. Like, the grill insert, you could literally poke it and it would move in and out. And I'm like, what? No! It was just, dude, it's been a day, okay? So I spent like 3 hours, and they ended up wanting to, they didn't want to come off of the price, and we ended up walking. And I'm like, dude, you obviously don't know your shit. Like, I know I'm not the most, you know, mechanically talented person in the world, but I'm not paying that. And he was fucking crazy. But I think I found a little Accord we're gonna get. I talked to the guy on Facebook about it, and I think I found me a cute little Accord. I only drive manuals, but like I said, I was gonna make an exception, but I found one. It's got like 180,000 miles, but just for now and getting around town, like, I don't have to have the newest shit. Like, I still have the iPhone 5. Like, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me to drive an older car. Plus, it'll be paid for, so that is super sweet. Because that car payment they were talking about was just ridiculous. I'm sorry, even for me. They were trying to tell me that, like, it's because of this and because of this, and I'm just like, nah, brah. Nah, I'm not paying that, no. Plus, they lied to me about all the aftermarket mods, and they were trying, because, like, I swear to God, at first they tried to say that this was how it came, and it was OEM, and I was like, this is not OEM. Whoever had it even took the G37 badge off of the back of it. I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So that was my rant for the day. That was my vlog for the day. I'm so sorry it almost went on for 8 minutes, but that was just for anyone who was interested. Not that you are, but okay, so let's start the video. Sorry for the super long vloggy introduction, but that was just a little bit about my day if anyone was interested in my car searching experience. Basically, salesmen are idiots. Or at least that dude was. The manager was such a douche. Alright, so this guy was like, he hooked me. He was like, they're unsigned and they're going to be your new favorite band. And I'm like, I'm interested.
The rhythm starts to resonate right down to the core.
Whoa.
My nerves start to alleviate as the pounding hits the floor. Rumbling through my body while my senses open wide. I feel a quake and shiver.
Hold on.
I'm so amplified. 1, 2, 3, 4, shake for me and rattle the core. Shake, shake.
that that's a bad thing. Just okay. Whoever this, she's a kick-ass bass player. Oh my god.
Waves begin to vibrate up and down my walls. I can feel it start to stimulate as I grow 10 feet tall. The space around me is shattering. The ground below is cracked. Mind and spirit's disconnected. Might not make it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake for me right out the core.
Oh wow. She's got so much potential. I'm sorry, I'm just in love with this bass player right now. She is amazing.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shake for me right out the core.
I think I'm just in shock because I wasn't expecting this. My god. I wouldn't necessarily call that metal. He's like, this is going to be your new favorite, like, in metal. I would call that, like, rock. But we definitely need, like, there's definitely a space to be filled within this type of genre and within this market. This could, I'm a little bit lost for words right now. Obviously, she needs some help in really getting to those high notes and really letting go. But that, I mean, that just comes with experience and time. She seemed really young, a little bit more vocal training. That bassist, though, she was killing it. The guitar player, you know, it was, I mean, it was okay. Drums were fine. Just the singer and the bassist for me were just like so good. Holy shit. I'm gonna go ahead and like and subscribe to these guys. That way I can hear when their new shit comes out. Alright, on to the next one.